Hello everyone, it's me Anju Sajgotra. In this video, we are going to learn about India, a union of states. Here we are going to discuss the process of the integration of Indian states and the subsequent reorganization of states in the Indian Union. The transfer of power from the British colonial masters to the Indians was a supremely happy event, but it was spoiled by two sad developments. First, the creation of Pakistan, and second, the refusal of the British government to integrate the Indian states falling within the territorial boundary of India with India. When on 15th August 1947 India became independent, the Indian states also became independent states. After the lapse of the British paramountcy over them, these became free to accede either to India or to Pakistan or to remain free sovereign states. The Congress had opposed the British policy, but the Muslim League had supported it. The British decision to allow its paramountcy to lapse created the problem of the integration of the Indian states with India. While allowing the paramountcy to lapse, the Britishers, however, urged the rulers of the Indian states to enter into relations with one or the other dominion according to contiguity and the communal character of their populations. The government of India decided to tackle the problem posed by the British colonialism and created a Ministry of States with Sardar Patel as the minister in charge and Mr. V.P. Menon as the secretary. The greatest need was to keep the states on the Indian side of the fence within India. This was particularly needed because Pakistan had started flirting with some of the border states and with some states which had Muslim rulers. The Indian Ministry of States, however, did a commendable job. Initially, the rulers were requested to accede on three subjects, namely defense, external affairs, and communication, without any financial obligations. In addition, they were asked to execute a standstill agreement covering all subjects of common interest. Later on, an instrument of accession and a standstill agreement were drafted and sent to all the states with the exception of Hyderabad and two or three small states under Muslim rules in Saurashtra. All the rulers of the Indian states acceded to India and signed the instrument of accession. Of the states which opted out, Hyderabad and Junagadh were the most important. In Junagadh, the Nawab went away to Pakistan and his representative, in view of the chaotic conditions in the state, requested the government of India to take it over, which we did. Hyderabad was not easy to control, and the governments of the neighboring provinces were much concerned about the internal trouble caused by the activities of the Rajakars and the refugees who were leaving the state. They asked the government of India to intervene. Accordingly, there was a meeting of the Defense Committee on 9th September 1948, and the States Ministry pressed their view that we should occupy Hyderabad and put a stop to the chaos there. The Prime Minister was strongly opposed and he was very critical of the attitude of the State's Ministry. Sardar Patel left the meeting in the middle. The same afternoon, the Governor General called a meeting in his room of the Prime Minister, Sardar Patel and BP Menon. It was then decided that we would occupy Hyderabad, which we did on 17th September 1948. At that stage, the government of India did not formally approach Kashmir to accede to India as the Maharaja had not made up his mind. Pakistan's intervention by allowing raiders to invade Kashmir decided the issue for the government of India. The next step was to transform the hundreds of smaller states into the Bible units of the Union. The pattern was set when we integrated the Orissa states with the province of Odisha. The next step was the formation of a viable unit comprising all the states in Saurashtra. This pattern was followed throughout India. The states on the border, or those which for other reasons could not be conveniently integrated with a province, were kept separate as chief commissioners' provinces. Bigger states like Hyderabad and Mysore and the unions of states were treated as Part B states, and the smaller ones as Part C states. The political map of India thus got the following states, which stood classified into four parts. Part A states: Assam, Bihar, Mumbai, Madhya Pradesh, Madras, Odisha, Punjab, UP, West Bengal, Andhra. Part B states: Hyderabad, Jammu Kashmir, Madhya Bharat, Mysore, Patiala and East Punjab states, Union, Rajasthan, Saurashtra, Travancore, Cochin. Part C states: Ajmer, Bilaspur, Bhopal, Coorg, Delhi, Himachal Pradesh, Kutch, Manipur, Tripura, Vindhya Pradesh. Part D states: Andaman and Nicobar Islands. This fourfold division was secured as number 1, 216 states having a population of over 19 million were merged with the neighboring provinces that were designated as Part A states. Number 2, 275 states with a population of about 35 million were integrated to create new administrative units, namely Part B states of the Indian Union. Some very big states like Hyderabad, Mysore, and Jammu Kashmir were also placed in this category. Number 3, 61 states having a population of about 7 million were constituted into Part C states and were declared centrally administered areas. Number 4, the islands of Andaman and Nicobar were placed in Part D of the Indian Union. The task of integration of the Indian states with the Indian Union was aptly handled by the Ministry of States. The process got finally completed with the inauguration of the Constitution of India. Reorganization of states. Realizing fully the future need for the reorganization of states, the Constitution, under its Article 3, laid down that the Parliament may, by law, number 1, form a new state by separation of a territory from any state or by uniting two or more states or parts of states or by uniting any territory to a part of any state. Number 2, increase the area of any state. Number 3, diminish the area of any state. Number 4, alter the boundaries of any state. And number 5, alter the name of any state. However, such a law was to be introduced in either house of the parliament with the prior recommendations of the president, and any bill affecting the area or boundary or name of any state required the consent of the state legislature, which was to be sought by the president before recommending the said bill. The integration of Indian states with the Indian Union was an ad hoc arrangement. The need for a systematic reorganization of states with a view to making them viable units of the Union was accepted by all. The growing demand for the linguistic reorganization of the states, particularly in the South, was compelled the government of India to plan and secure a reorganization of states. The Dar Commission was appointed to examine the case of reorganization of states on linguistic basis. In its report 1948, the Dar Commission, while favoring the idea of reorganization of states for the sake of administrative convenience, rejected the thesis for a linguistic reorganization of states. However, under the pressure of public opinion, the Congress decided to set up a committee including Jawaharlal Nehru, Vallabhbhai Patel, and Pattabhi Sitaramaiah Committee, the JVP Committee, for re examining the issue of linguistic reorganization of states. This committee also rejected the concept of linguistic reorganization but held that if the public opinion favored it, the states should be reorganized on this basis. In Madras, there dwelt a strong agitation for the creation of a separate state of the Telugu speaking people. Under the pressure of this agitation, in 1953, the state of Andhra was carved out of Madras, and this set the stage for a linguistic reorganization of states of the Indian Union. Let's know about States Reorganization Commission and States Reorganization Act 1956. In 1953, the Government of India constituted the States Reorganization Commission (SRC) for examining and reporting on the issue of reorganization of states, taking into account all dimensions of the problem. It was a three-member commission with Fazal Ali as the chairman and K.M. Panikar and H.N. Kunjuru as members, which after full deliberations submitted its report on 30th September 1955. The Commission in its report recommended that Part A, B, C, and D, 29 states, should be recognized into states with equal status and be categorized into 16 states and 3 centrally administered areas. Andhra Pradesh, Assam, Bihar, Mumbai, Hyderabad, Jammu and Kashmir, Karnataka, Kerala, Madhya Pradesh, Madras, Odisha, Punjab, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, Vidarbha, West Bengal as the 16 states, and Delhi, Manipur, Andaman and Nicobar Islands as the 3 centrally administered areas. The Government of India accepted the SRC report with some changes, and the Union Parliament passed the States Reorganization Act 1956. This act provided for the reconstitution of the Indian Union into 14 states and 6 union territories. Andhra Pradesh, Assam, Bihar, Mumbai, Jammu and Kashmir, Kerala, Madhya Pradesh, Madras, Mysore, Odisha, Punjab, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, West Bengal. These were the states and union territories: Delhi, Himachal Pradesh, Manipur, Tripura, Andaman and Nicobar, Lakshadweep, Minicoy, and Amindivi Islands. Along with this, the States Reorganization Act 1956 provided for placing the states and union territories into zones for the setting up of advisory councils, that is, zonal councils, responsible for securing cooperation among the states of their respective zones. The five zones were to be North Zone, Central Zone, Eastern Zone, Western Zone, and Southern Zone. North Zone included Punjab, Rajasthan, Jammu and Kashmir, Delhi, Himachal Pradesh. Now, Haryana and Chandigarh are also included in this zone. Second, Central Zone included Uttar Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh. Eastern Zone included Assam, Bihar, Odisha, West Bengal, Manipur, and Tripura. Now, Manipur and Tripura are in the Northeast Zone, and Sikkim has joined this zone. Western Zone, Mumbai and Mysore. After the division of Mumbai and the inclusion of Mysore, this zone now consists of Gujarat, Maharashtra, Goa, Daman and Diu, and Dadra and Nagar Haveli. Southern Zone, Andhra Pradesh, Kerala, and Madras. Now the South Zone has AP, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, and Pondicherry. Now another zone, northeastern zone, stands created. It consists of Assam, Manipur, Tripura, Meghalaya, Nagaland, Mizoram, and Arunachal Pradesh. Each zone was to have a zonal council, and each such council was to consist of: number 1, a union minister appointed by the president; second, chief ministers of the member states; third, two ministers from each state of the zone as nominated by the governor; and four, one member from every union territory to be nominated by the president. In the case of the Eastern Zone, besides these members, the advisor to the governor of the Assam for the tribal areas was also to be member of the Eastern Zonal Council. In addition to these, each zonal council was to have number one, a person nominated by the Planning Commission, second, the chief secretaries of the states of the zone, and third, the development commissioners of the states of the zone. The zonal council was to secure operation among the members of the zone. It was to resolve conflicts among the member states and coordinate their efforts in respect of interstate transport, economic planning, and other matters of common interest. These zonal councils continue to be in existence, but they have almost failed to perform their assigned role in promoting unity in multiplicity. Reorganization of states from 1956 to 2014. Even after the implementation of the States Reorganization Act 1956, the process of the reorganization of states continued due to the demands for the creation of more linguistic states and for full statehood to union territories. The transfer of the French possessions to India in 1956, the liberation of Goa 1961, and the accession of Sikkim to India in 1975 further changed the political map of India. In 1956, the transfer of the French possessions to India was secured. The territories of Chandernagar, Mahi, Yanaus, and Karikal were merged with the adjoining Indian states, while Pondicherry was given the status of a union territory. In 1960, the bilingual state of Bombay was bifurcated into Maharashtra, Marathi speaking, and Gujarat, Gujarati speaking states. In 1960, Goa, Daman, and Diu were liberated from Portugal and made union territories. In 1963, Nagaland was carved out of Assam. In 1966, Punjab was bifurcated into Punjab, Punjabi speaking, and Haryana, Hindi speaking states. The hilly areas of Punjab were transferred to Himachal Pradesh, and Chandigarh was made a union territory. In 1969, Meghalaya was carved out of Assam. In 1976, Himachal Pradesh and Meghalaya became full fledged states. Later on, the union territories of Tripura and Manipur were given full statehood. In 1974, Sikkim became an associate state of India, and in 1975 it became a state of the Indian Union. In 1987, Mizoram and Arunachal Pradesh got statehood. In the same year, Goa became a state while Daman and Diu continued to be union territories. In November 2000, three new states, Chhattisgarh, Uttaranchal, and Jharkhand, were carved out respectively out of MP, UP, and Bihar. These became the 26th, 27th, and 28th states of the Union. On 1st June 2014, Telangana became the 29th state of Indian Union. By the revocation of Article 370, Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization Act 2019 divided the state of Jammu and Kashmir into two new union territories, Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. I hope this video would be beneficial for you. Please subscribe for such more videos. Thanks for watching.